Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. As you see, we are missing our fearless leader. She is having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're hoping she comes in at any moment. So we're going to kick it off first. I'm going to say, hello, Kwyn, and how are you this evening?
Hello, I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good on Wednesday evening. It's kind of cold here now, Virginia, so I had to
Oh,
buy some
really?
clothes.
What is cold? How many degrees is cold to
I
you?
get cold when it's 60 for me. That's even being from Chicago. So
That's
yeah.
kind of embarrassing. Yeah, I'm just gonna say 60 is cold for
Wow,
you.
don't call me weak because I get cold. These sound like these
It ain't but a
students.
week, okay? And you, Stephen Hill?
Here's the thing. First of all, good afternoon, Myra. Good evening, Quinn. This is the only non-wedding thing I plan on doing for the next like month. Right. This is the everything is wedding. So it's going well. But it's all encompassing.
You never asked for my address for the invite.
I
Me
did not.
either.
I did because the three on my phone is busted.
What
Your
happened?
phone is busted? Is he
Wait,
lying?
why is he acting
Frozen?
like he's all frozen when we
Damn, I thought
asked
I thought
where's our
I could
invite to the wedding? It's like that. Really? Really, my brother? It's like
I thought, yeah, I was,
Wow.
I was in a
so
frozen position.
wrong.
I was in a frozen.
I was
So
like,
Come on down.
wrong.
You go to the wedding. Come to the wedding. I invite
Oh,
you. Come
cool,
on.
cool. Well, I said I pulled the Stephen Hill because I had been texting going, I didn't know if I was going to make it 2 hours ago. I was still on a plane. I just returned from Los Angeles for the celebration of life for our dear friend, comedian, writer, showrunner, creator, actor, um, David A. Arnold. And as you know, passed suddenly about 2 weeks ago. Um, you all know this guy. So I was in LA for his memorial service and the funeral. And let me just say this. Yes, there's grief. Yes, there are tears shed. But if you've ever been to a comedian's funeral, it is like going to a comedy show. And we kind of know this is the way that a comic wants it. And there were just so many heartfelt acknowledgments. Let's see, Kevin Hart, Rodney Perry, Gina, and like the African sister who's from the UK, and I'm gonna mess up her last name, Yashire, um, spoke. Kim Fields, and and art. They had it at the Directors Guild, which held hundreds of people, and you had to RSVP. They still had 200 people in the lobby.
Wow.
They also live streamed it. They announced they had over 5,000 people on YouTube watching the service. So I knew David as a stand-up, but I really got to know David here in Atlanta when he was hired at Tyler Perry Studios, and we were writers on the show. And David Arnold was such a passionate man. He did everything to 110 at every level, and he had so many sayings. Many I probably shouldn't say here, but one of them he used to always say, "Get your ish together," and and we would sit in that room and laugh and laugh and laugh. And one of the things I can say, he confessed to us that he loved birthday cake. And he loved it so much. He said he used to actually go and order birthday cakes like it was one of his daughter's birthdays. And then he would eat the whole birthday cake. He would
Love
eat
that.
the
I
entire
understand that. I am that. I
birthday
understand
cake.
that. Love it.
But I also know that something happened to a friend of mine. I got a text message who was having a very serious medical emergency at the time, and it reminded me of when I lost my niece suddenly due to stroke. And in that moment, I got so emotional that I ran out of the writer's room. And I'll never forget, David ran right out of the writer's room and just held me and wouldn't let me go. So that was also, David Arnold too, not only the comedian, but such a passionate man. He would post every day, just his life, his family, Julie, the daughters, Ashley
Ashlyn.
and Anna Grace. That was his life. He loved his family. He did 2 specials on Netflix. The first one was Fat Ballerina, the one that was just released in July. Ain't for the weak. Just came out, and so much of it was just about being just a father and family life. And the pastor that spoke at his funeral was actually a good friend of the family, who's Pastor Anthony. I don't remember his last name, but he said that the A in David A. Arnold, David was named after him. And this other pastor spoke and said that David would meet with him, and one of the main questions he would ask is, teach me how to become a better husband and a better father. So even though we are comics, we're still just real people. And David A. Arnold was one of those real people, and we will miss him tremendously. I mean, from Cedric the Entertainer, Dion Cole, Tiffany Haddish, Lunel. I mean, you just got Guy Torrey. I mean, so many people came out for him. Oh, and one of the just real quick, when he and Rodney Perry were very close, and Rodney said when he had a stroke.
That's funny.
Yeah, David was actually with him. It was like, dude, something is happening to you. And so he said when he was in the hospital, and David always had ideas, and he was high energy. He was like, man, I want to do this TV show, and I got, it's about family life and da. And Rodney said, okay, that's all cool, but I'm trying to learn how to walk right now, David. I can't get into your dreams at this moment. So yeah, it was a lot of memories, a lot of great memories.
Well, somewhere.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Sorry for the delay. It's it can't find good lighting anywhere.
It's right behind you.
Yeah, well, it's bouncing somewhere. How are you all doing?
Good.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that about David's services. I was going to ask you about that. How's his mom, Myra?
Oh my God! How could I forget Miss Barbara? Let me just say, Miss Barbara and his wife Julie, just so elegant, very strong women. Both of them are doing well under the circumstances. And let me say this: that his daughter, and I hope I have the right one because they're close in age. I think it was Ashlyn, spoke at the funeral, 15 years old. Which, first of all, I was so like, wow, is she strong? Because he died suddenly. And she said that morning, she said, my dad was, yelling and blah, blah, blah. She said, and I didn't get mad at him that morning, like I usually do. And she said, I love you, Dad. And I went to school. And that was it. And she said she was just so glad that this was one of those days that she didn't get angry with her father. And I was like,
because we would see that on the Instagram features. Yeah.
He would post every day, and he'd be yelling at the kid, and I'm gonna take away
get yourselves one of these things called a family.
Get our nails done. And he was like, get one of these things called a family. It ain't for the weak, Yeah. So
that's really
they're
cool.
all hanging in there, and they are so surrounded by love. It's a huge tribe.
Yeah.
Huge tribe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kwyn, how are you?
I'm good. I was saying it's actually kind of cold here, Virginia, not for me. And I have all my fall and winter stuff back in Chicago. So I had to go shopping for some new things, which was expensive, but here we are.
Okay. Kwyn was, and as I've explained over the last couple of days, Kwyn was part of the Youngins crew that came into Dallas-Fort Worth over the weekend. We were at the State Fair Classic with the HBCU football games, Prairie View versus Grambling State. And we hung out there. And then on Sunday, we had a gathering at the White House.
Yeah.
The White's house, I guess we should call that. And Ward White prepared a fabulous feast for us. And for most of us, probably with the exception of Kwyn and and her brother Cameron, this was the first time that we all saw each other in person.
Wow.
This was as opposed to virtually. And so it was really great. It was Kwyn and Cameron and Coy and Aprilette and Chica and all of us older folks there. And Olivia also came in, who's one of our technical people. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And Kwyn, perhaps during the entertainment section, you'll tell us what you all did Saturday night.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm not sure how we're doing on time, Yolanda, but let us move into the What You Need to Know newsletter. And Kwyn, let's talk about your contribution to the newsletter and talking about the Department of Justice looking into hospitals' treatment of transgender patients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so 3 major medical associations on Monday, this past Monday, have asked the Justice Department to investigate threats that are being made against hospitals that are choosing to offer gender-affirming care. The American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Medical Association, and the Children's Hospital Association has urged the department to, quote, investigate the organizations, individuals, and entities coordinating, provoking, and carrying out bomb threats and threats of personal violence against children's hospitals and physicians across the U.S. This has come after the culmination of the Boston's Children's Hospital in Massachusetts, Vanderbilt University, which I talked about a couple of weeks ago in Tennessee, and Akron's Children's Hospital in Ohio have all received social media threats after far-right influencers condemning gender-affirming programs offered by these hospitals and has spread misinformation about their practices. This has brought scrutiny from the Tennessee Governor, Bill Lee, which is Republican, who was formally called for an investigation into Vanderbilt's practices and threats of violence after a local woman was charged with making a fake bomb threat to the Boston Children's Hospital. The Justice Department under the Biden administration has weighed in on state levels, but they haven't gone this far extensively. And furthermore, like when we think about gender affirming care, we have to remember that a lot of parents have been suffering just excruciatingly trying to explain to their children that they cannot actually provide these things for them. So some trans youth have undergone hormone therapy or taken puberty blockers as part of their transition with their parents' oversight to alleviate that distress of gender dysphoria and to helpfully help children align their gender expression with their gender identity in the meantime. And so, yeah, hopefully the Justice Department is going to take a look because these bomb threats are real. And we know that the far right does not play about violence. So hopefully they go ahead and take a look in order to spare people's lives. So, yeah.
Wow. That's when you think about people providing care for other people, bomb threats and that kind of association with the medical association is frightening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are top medical associations, like the American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Children's Hospital Association. So these are associations that consist of many top doctors, physicians, definitions, science. So a lot of times when far right people and people that are honestly, not sure how to define trans folks or even queer children, these are the websites that they go to for that information. And so it's just interesting that a lot of times when we talk about, children don't know what they want, or like this isn't actually good for children, these are the people that we look to in order to say what's good for children. And they're saying, let the hospitals provide this care. So, yeah.
Wow, that is, well, just when you think that the far right can't get any stranger, along comes Herschel Walker and a revelation by a former girlfriend that the man who stands with the far right against abortions without any exceptions, including rape or incest, and as he has been on the campaign trail as the Republican running for the U.S. Senate seat in Myra's beloved Georgia, the Daily Beast provided a story and did a piece on this former girlfriend who came with receipts regarding an abortion that he encouraged her to have. He told her this was not a convenient time to have a baby for him. This was September of 2009. He did pay for the abortion. She has the copy of the check. You know how they give it on your bank slip, and also a get well soon card that he.
This is like a blue dress moment for me.
He is denying it, and his son Christian is through with him. People may know Christian as his son from his marriage, and Christian has been a real supporter of his dad's. And as of learning of this report from the Daily Beast, he went off and tweeted a whole bunch of things about his dad and said, "I'm done. You know, we tried to get you not to run. We knew, and what we got was a middle finger." He just kept going. And the interesting response is that no one, and I guess I didn't expect this in this right-wing Republican Party. I don't know what I expected, but I didn't expect, for them to stand lockstep with him. After the other day, when Donald Trump had pretty much a threat out there to Mitch McConnell, asking if this was a death wish, and then casting a racist aspersion upon his wife, who not only is the wife of Mitch McConnell, but was a former cabinet member in the Trump administration. It is Stephen Hill. Try to make sense of this for me.
So wait, I'm sorry. What part of he's the black people the white people like do you not get? I'm so sorry. He's the black people the white people like, and you have a choice between Warnock and Herschel Walker in Georgia. Yo, it doesn't matter as long. I was gonna say as long as he doesn't murder somebody, but I actually believe he could do that because people are not voting for Herschel Walker; they're voting against Democrats.
Right.
And there's enough of the folks in Georgia that it's going to happen.
Right.
I sadly believe unless, and people listening to this, people watching this, make sure you talk to all your friends in Georgia. Make sure they get out there and vote because the Reds are going to be out there voting for Herschel Walker. Let's put the dumb Negro in and see what happens. Let's put the dumb Negro in and see what happens.
They keep saying it's within 2 percentage points.
Right.
That's what's blowing my mind. You would think that Reverend Warnock would, it's like 98% to 2. No, he's 2 percentage points ahead with that 3% margin of error, not to mention all the shenanigans that they're going to pull. Let's not forget that part.
Right.
Come on.
I get it.
It's so crazy here.
And the fact that Brian Kemp has what they're calling a pretty healthy lead over Stacey Abrams in the governor's race.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They will do anything and by any means necessary in order to flip the Senate as well as the House.
Mm-hmm.
And the election is now less than 5 weeks away. And we always ask people, have you registered to vote? The voter registration deadline for folks in Georgia, October 11th. And a lot of the states are around that if they haven't already reached the deadline. Kwyn, you have changed your voter registration?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if they started early voting in Georgia, but I know they did in Illinois, and I haven't seen early voting yet done in Virginia. But I have to find a good progressive voter guide because I use a Chicago voter guide that's provided by Injustice Watch that actually prints pretty much the statistics about judges to vote for too. Really what inspired me to vote, like particularly like in Chicago. So I'm trying to find that same information here in Virginia. But yeah, I'm registered. I vote, Sybil. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you do. Early and often.
Yeah.
That's the way we do it in the
That's
Chi.
the Chicago way.
Stephen Hill, are you registered to vote?
No, I didn't bother. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The few places I can register to vote, I get like I'm going to go out there and vote because it's the thing to do. I used to like literally when I was in D.C. but living in New York for the most part, I would get on a flight early in the morning, go down, vote, and then go back to work in New York. That said, I'm in New York and California, like, you know, and I'm in districts where, you know, they kind of beat you up if you vote Republican. So like there's people waiting outside. It's like the Sharks and the Jets. Except there's no Jets. So yes, that's a long way of saying yes, I'm registered and proud.
And can I just say, Stephen Hill, it was great to see you and the future Mrs. last week. Were very kind to invite us to the concert or the party, the Michigan Caucus party at which Shantae performed, and it was really beautiful. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thanks for coming through. It's good. Always good to see you.
Always
masked up and everything. Look at you. Look at you. Like COVID still exists.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
And people look at you on the plane like, "What's wrong with you?"
I know. I know.
Wow.
My seatmate also had a mask on, and we got on the plane and we do the mask dab like, yeah. Like, we nod masks to one another like, yeah, I feel you with your mask on. All right, we're gonna be all right in this row.
Okay.
Meanwhile, on Sunday, we're sitting up in Dallas Stadium for the Commanders Dallas game. My brother and his friend TJ are literally the only two people that you can see with masks on. I actually look, right? Oh, they had a mask on because my brother's still really very concerned about that, even though COVID's going away. It's not a thing anymore. So literally in a stadium of like 70,000, my brother and his friend TJ are the only people with masks.
And you didn't have a mask on, Steve?
I'm not. You know me. I haven't done a mask in a very, very, very long time. I'm trusting science. I'm gonna go with the vaccine works. And since I've had COVID twice, I'm going with the COVID plus my 2 times of having it are gonna make me just fine. I could be wrong.
I just got the 3rd booster right before I went to Los Angeles, so I'm Omicron up and everything.
There you go.
So
that's
hopefully it works.
The last time I got the vaccines, I did the drive-through, which was very convenient, and I'm looking to do that again for the booster. Before I travel again, I've been trying to get away and do it early, and I just haven't had a chance to do it. Speaking of COVID, that is a daily feature in the What You Need to Know newsletter. And a judge has opened a COVID inquiry in the United Kingdom handling of the pandemic. A retired judge looking into how Britain handled the coronavirus pandemic, saying bereaved families and those who suffered would be at the heart of the proceedings. And the inquiry would investigate their preparedness for a pandemic. And as our friend Dr. Fauci says, yeah, it's here to stay. It's just a matter of our being prepared for it. So sort of like a flu. Yay.
I know. I'm excited.
It's time for our question of the day, what's really going on. And this was a question asking during a conversation, actually. What's that old saying that your mom, your parents used to say, and maybe even your grandparents used to say that didn't make any sense then and doesn't make any sense now? So for instance, if it's raining and the sun is shining, it means the devil is beating his wife.
That's right.
Why is that? Yeah.
Don't ask me. Look.
Don't understand why.
I learned not to. Back in the day, you couldn't question your elders because you got a whipping. Because my grandmama told me I got eyes in the back of my head, and I said, "Well, if I poke you." Yeah, and that's as far as I got with that conversation.
Okay.
But that was great logic. That was great logic right there.
Yeah. I see, not just I see everything, but I got eyes in the back of my head. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to know from the folks that are listening and watching today, as well as the rest of you all. Steve, did your mom have some crazy sayings?
No, not even a little bit. Nope. I'm struggling with this one. Right. The only one is like when something's lost, you're looking for something. Like, well, it's going to be the last place you find it. It's going to be on the last place you look for it. And I was like, I used to wonder, like, wow, that's true. And then it'd be like, that's because after you found it, you stopped looking. Like, what?
Like, duh. It takes you a minute to catch on to that. I did too, Stephen. I was the same way. Like, it's a miracle.
Young Kwyn, what about you?
So I was thinking of two things. Like one, every time I would get hiccups, my grandma would just say that you don't have hiccups, and then they would actually leave for me. But I know that doesn't work for everybody. But that's not saying. But the whole thing about when you see rabbits or fish, that means like you're expecting a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I see rabbits all the time. I'm not pregnant.
Are we sure?
Absolutely.
Really?
It's been way past for me.
That little cutie
Maybe it's one of them delayed.
that little cutie who was in your room earlier. Look at
That is a college student.
that little cutie you had in your room earlier. I don't know.
Oh, you think he's cute? That's nice.
Oh,
You're here.
So let's go there, Kwyn. Who is the cutie in the room?
Oh my God. I have two students in my room right now. These are all college students that are below 21. And I'm saying,
Mrs. Robinson. He just loves you. I'm so sorry.
Who is
You don't even get that reference.
Oh.
You don't get
You
that
gotta
reference.
watch. You gotta watch The Graduate.
But to everybody in the comments, that's really funny.
My mother used to say, don't drink coffee, it'll make you black. And I never could. Not only did I not get the correlation, but I was like, well, it's kind of late for us, ain't it? Like, I was always saying something to get myself in trouble. They're like, I don't want this. Don't you know people in Africa are starving? What can we send them this plate? Yeah. Yep. And once again, Myra was getting a whipping.
And once again, yeah, not a surprise, huh?
Yes, that is me.
okay, the children have an old saying.
What?
Not the same.
They said eating late gives you nightmares. Well, it's not saying, but they've been told by that from their parents too.
Well, that's true.
It's
Or indigestion.
It is. It does. I get nightmares every time I eat late. That's
true,
but I never.
And then they're going to explain it. And what about the itching of the hand? Anybody ever get that one?
With the money?
Well, it depends on which hand. I think right hand,
if your
you
right
get
hand
money,
itch,
left hand, you lose money, right?
right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Or you just need to see a dermatologist.
Okay.
True
Not
that.
sure. Not sure. Yolanda, do we have any sayings for us? And then we go to Stephen Hill. What is that saying? What's your label today?
What is a nickel slick?
You think you a nickel slick. Never knew what that meant. Did Regina Glover, did you ask?
Okay.
I'm a fan of alliteration, so I'm all the way in. I'll tell you that right now.
Hard
Shirley
head, make a
Anthony
soft
Davis.
ass. I'm just
What's
saying.
for dinner? Air pudding and
And
wind song.
Oh yeah, that means nothing. Mhm. I should tell my son that.
Air pudding?
And
And wind song.
Mhm.
Oh, fat
Oh,
meat.
Myra, this sounds like you.
Yeah.
Do you understand
Yeah.
when they say fat meat ain't
Fat
greasy?
meat greasy. That means is to bring that in modern terms. I'm keeping it 100. It's true. It's real. Yeah, fat meat greasy. Period.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
End of sentence. Our friend Michelle Lynn Summerall on Facebook. My mom still says this one. If you can beat me cooking, you can have
No,
my
rocking.
rocking. If you can beat me rocking, you can have my chair.
My chair. Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Yep.
What does that mean?
You ain't stronger than me. No. Can't be. Come on now. No.
This is Myra's game right here.
Oh yeah.
It really
can't
is.
be. Mm-hmm.
This is like me and music last week or 2 weeks.
Right.
Do you
Right.
feel froggish jump? Come on. You feel froggish jump. And.
She is cleaning off this Jeopardy category.
Old sayings for 1,000, please.
Brendan McCutcheon on Facebook. The older the world, the weaker and wiser the race. Huh.
Myra don't know that one.
I
Myra?
don't know that one.
Myra?
And anytime you talk about being weak and wise in the same sentence, no.
And race. Shirley and Tony Davis on Facebook. Bought sense is better than told fish.
Okay, I think
Wait,
some of y'all parents
no,
is just
some-
drunk.
Or there's a lot of typos going on. There's a lot of typos.
Maybe cold fish. Lynn Powell on Facebook. If my grandma got mad with you, she'll call you a Bible back bee.
Yeah.
That's definitely just a lover of alliteration. There's no,
You're right.
there's no sense in that at all. There's no sense in that at all.
I know.
A
That's what
Bible
I'm
back
saying.
bee.
Mhm.
Janice Brown on Facebook. A
Yeah.
hard hit makes a sock behind. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when you get older, you just find out lack of exercise makes it so.
He does it too.
There's always an answer to that. And Janae Brown on
Don't grow on
YouTube, you
trees,
think
yeah.
fat meat is greasy. My daddy used to say money don't grow on trees.
Yep.
Oh. Have y'all heard when your knees are hurting and that means it's about to rain?
Well, yeah.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Arthritis.
Now that one my mother said all the time, and she blamed it on arthritis and other things. Yes.
Oh, it's about to rain.
You about to pimp past your stop player.
Michael Stallworth on Facebook says one saying my dad would say was you gonna let your mouth overload your oh my, that sounds painful. You're gonna let your mouth overload your rear end.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Don't let your mouth write a check that your ass can't cash.
In other words, you're gonna get smacked. You're gonna get smacked around for talking slick.
Yeah, you.
If you talk nickel slick, you might get pimp slapped.
Mhm, yeah,
Okay.
You're
you're doing too much of this right here. Flapping off at the jibs, as we used to say. You're flapping off at the
Jibs.
jibs. You about to get a beat down.
Myra, who said that?
Flapping off at the jibs.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people in pimp suits and a lot of people that drank brown liquor.
What job was that they flapped off at the jibs?
In radio, maybe? People who work in radio, I'm not sure.
That's funny. That's very funny.
All right.
Markeisha Brown. My mom used to say the older your kids get, the dumber you all get. Oh wow. Well, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not.
No. If I'm not mistaken, that one I've heard. It's basically the older you get, the dumber. The older your kids get, the dumber you get because the kids believe they know everything.
Everything.
So you as a parent are now the dumb one.
Right.
Yes,
I'm living that reality right now, so I'm very, very in tune.
Yes. Yeah,
Very in tune.
I used to tell my son, I said, so I've never been 16. Never. I just went from 2 to like 49 or something. I was never a teenager because you're not a teenager try to pull one over on you. You don't know
and you never said, and that's how you got here, son. Carolyn Campbell on Facebook. If you make your bed, you have to lay in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So whatever you do, you got to live with it.
Yep.
Or
Accountability.
Or go to somebody else's bed. I don't know. That's just.
Oh, yeah,
an
that's-
adult. Yeah.
That's a whole
Just-
different saying, Stephen Hill.
It is.
That's
Is
just
that
the
like
nickel
having your
slick in
cake, having your cake and eating it too?
in somebody else's bed.
Leaving crumbs and carrying on.
Tawana Jones on Facebook. One Monkey Don't Stop No Show, which was a funny play.
Yes. With
Yeah.
Kim, speaking of Kim Field, Marvin Wright Bay, I think was in that.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
All skin folk ain't your kin folk.
Yeah, yep, that's
Yeah.
right. Like Herschel Walker. I'm just saying.
or Candace Owens. Renita Bland. I'm sorry, Yolanda. Renita Bland on Facebook. Growing up, Mama used to say, you don't believe sugar is
Sugar
sweet.
sweet. Sugar sweet. You don't believe sugar
Believe sugar
sweet.
sweet.
You got to say it like that. You don't believe sugar sweet. And then you got to curl your mouth to one side, which means do you? This is like a black
It
question
means
mark.
do you?
You don't believe sugar sweet. There is a question, Stephen. I'm getting a text. What does your handle mean?
Oh, nuclear secrets and grocery lists. So, as everybody knows, or you may not know, there was briefly released today that by mistake, the people who are investigating Mar-a-Lago released some of the data or some of the documents that were being held at Mar-a-Lago that he refused to get back. And he tried to have people say like, "Yeah, I gave them back, but I didn't really give them back." So, and so the funny thing is, like, he literally had like personal documents in with like okay, not nuclear secrets. I admit but like classified information. So he basically was treating classified, like national security sensitive stuff and putting it with like things like grocery lists, right? And so that's why I see. So my point is like Donald Trump was literally putting nuclear secrets and grocery lists in the same pile. That's how. And the point is how much disrespect he actually had for the classified information that he had. Forget that you think like he had it separate in a file and he'd go to that. He literally had like nuclear secrets and grocery lists in the same pile among his list.
Does anybody believe that he ever had a grocery list? Like Melania sent him to the store with a honeydew?
With some to get more ketchup and burgers.
And condoms. Don't forget the condoms.
Oh God.
Please don't forget the condoms. Please, I'm begging you. Since you're against this whole abortion thing, please.
Okay.
I'm not bearing another of your seed.
All right, ladies, and thanks for participating in the Mama Used to Say discussion and trying to figure out what they meant and that we're still asking. And for people who are not inviting us to partake of dinner, that's fine.
I just unmuted. Did you guys want some pizza? It's Domino's. It's like Papadilla pizza.
Oh, Domino's is awesome. You know what? That hurt me, except I love Domino's, so I can't.
Of course you love Domino's. You like Papadilla. Your palate's not wise.
It's time to move to trending topics. And Myra, do you have any dates that you want to share?
Sure. Yes. George Wallace, Jeffrey Brown, and myself, we're in Huntsville, Alabama, October 14th, 15th, and 16th. We're in DC, November 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's DC. Yes, we're coming 4th, 5th, and 6th. And that's all I can remember right now.
That's a good start. That's a good start. Kwyn, do you have any dates, any pizza eating dates or?
No, I do have a show in Baltimore, October 16th. But I was gonna say, Myra, literally like gonna be the opposite of you. I'm presenting at a conference in Alabama, November 4th through 6th. So when you're gonna be here for DC, I'll be in Alabama.
Oh man.
But, yeah. Baltimore, coming out October 16th. And my birthday is election day. So all of you guys for a gift, please just go vote.
There you go.
That's a perfect gift.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really great gift. Stephen Hill, is the Songbird going anywhere you'd like to share?
She's got a private gig in Atlanta, so she's in Atlanta. Actually, she's there now. I miss her.
Didn't get invited to that either.
In Atlanta this Friday, and then I don't know if Vegas is public on Saturday. And then, but coming up is Chicago, DC, Philadelphia, all coming up the next few months. But by then, she will be married.
Married. I like that married.
Married.
Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season.
So also in trending news, President Biden went to Puerto Rico this week, and now he has gone to Florida. He met with the governor, Ron DeSantis, during the Florida trip to survey the damage wrecked by Hurricane Ian. Ron DeSantis, no word on whether he allowed the president to borrow those really funky little go-go boots that he was wearing the other day, the white go-go boots. The president emphasized their cooperation despite their political differences as he visited Fort Myers, Florida, which was hard hit by Ian last week. And DeSantis thanked Mr. Biden for visiting the state and for his responsiveness, and said he's probably never seen better coordination among state, local, and federal government. And the president said, "You mean it? Will you stop sending migrants to my home state?" He didn't say that, but they did seem to have a bit of a rapprochement there during their conversation, along with the federal
he also didn't
emergency.
throw paper towels, and so that's a step up as well.
And yes, and
did
as
not
a lot
throw
of
paper
people have
towels.
noted, there are no paper towels hurt or thrown in the visit. Also, OPEC has announced the biggest cut to oil production since the start of the pandemic, and said it will slash oil production by 2 million barrels. And what that means for us, price of gas going up, up, up.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in Los Angeles, because I know it's gone down pretty much around the nation.
I'm gonna have visual aid for you. Keep going, Myra. I got visual aid for you right now.
California, $6.90-something.
Oh, you're good. This is where it is.
$6.99 I saw.
This is where it is in Beverly Hills.
Wow.
This is where it is in Beverly
Look
Hills.
at that.
I took a picture of this because while I was in Dallas the other day, minding my own business, that was the price of gas in Dallas, Texas.
Wow.
That's even lower than
That
here. Yeah.
was price of gas in Dallas, Texas. One more time. So anyhow, so OPEC's going to reduce even more.
Wow.
Beverly Hills.
I didn't even bother to rent a car because I was like, I spent everything on my plane ticket and my hotel. I can't afford a car and gas.
It's crazy. It really is crazy.
Wow.
I ran an errand the other morning, and it was at 9:00. And when I came back at 10:30, 11, gas was $2.89, and it gone up to $3.19.
Oh no.
At the same gas station. So I just went down the road and bought it for $2.84.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the road I have to go down is like I-10 for like.
Velma. Do you guys know Velma, the character on Scooby-Doo?
Mm-hmm.
Not to be confused with Thelma from Good Times.
Velma and Thelma? No.
Okay. Okay.
No.
Velma is a character, and I guess a lot of her fans have been waiting for her character to come out, and she is, according to folks in the know, Velma is going to be coming out of the closet, as they say, coming out in this animated movie Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo, which will soon be streaming if it's not already. What do you think about that, Kwyn?
I love that. We need some more representation so that we can normalize it and it won't become like a, I don't say it's, I want it to always be celebrated, but I don't want it to be always shocking. Like, I want it to be normal and just easily digestible for people that characters can be gay.
Did Scooby-Doo out her? I mean, Scooby-Doo was always, right, Scooby-Doo was always solving problems and stuff. I was like, was Scooby-Doo the one who like went, whoa?
I wonder what her partner's gonna look like.
So here's why I don't like that.
Okay.
Here's why I don't like it. Because what did they do? Right. By the way, they took the person who, I'm going to use this word and fight me if you want to, who looked the most stereotypically like one would expect. Okay, Kwyn, are you familiar with the characters from Scooby-Doo?
Yes.
Okay, so why couldn't Daphne be the one? Why I
think Thelma? They all could. I don't know why they chose Thelma.
But okay, my point is, people have been looking at Velma because Velma looks the most. I say stereotypically, but if you have a stereotypical view of someone, of a woman, she would be the one you'd naturally go to. Like 99 out of 100 people would say, like, oh, if one of them is, that's it. And it would have been cool if they had gone with Daphne as opposed to Velma. If people would say, like, we want Velma to come out, but it's actually Daphne, who, I don't know if I'm making myself, if it makes any sense. It's just like, it would have been the left turn and like, oh, even I, who doesn't look not necessarily stereotypically, could be that as well. So I love the idea of the move, but it felt like it was, you went on looks on that one.
I guess it would be the same if they did Powerpuff Girls things and like Buttercup became gay because like, you know, she's kind of not typically perceived as girly. And like when people assume like even for me, like I'm hetero passing because I am feminine and like in my nails and everything else like that. And we're like, oh, like you like women. And it's like, yes, like femme identified folks also like women. Like they're not all masculine presenting. We don't all do those things. There's a spectrum. So that's why I think even like for Scooby-Doo, it's like Daphne and Velma are both very feminine to me. Like just one has glasses. So I don't see the big difference, but like I also do understand what you're saying because the predictability is offensive. So yeah.
So Steve, you said you weren't surprised by Velma, and if she had been wearing a plaid lumberjack kind of jacket, then it would have been.
No. I think of the two, she's the person. Like again, this happened because so many people over the years have said like, "Oh, is that true? Is that true?" And so like that's the case. Like make Scooby-Doo gay. That's what I want to hear. That's like make Scooby-Doo.
Who was that? There was a story not too long ago about somebody that adopted a dog, and they sent it back because they said the dog had homosexual tendencies. And he.
I want to be clear. I've seen those type of dogs. Like I'm not.
That is the craziest thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. It's bananas, I tell you.
We all are gay, as Janelle Monáe would say. Yes.
Let us move on to entertainment. And speaking of, when Kwyn was in town, they went out to a spot. I guess they were going out to hear some music, and it ended up
headphones in your ear.
I don't want to out you in front of your youngins there.
No. What stays here? What says here stays here. They're graduating, so we're gonna see. Is my mom watching? No. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna talk about this.
Oh,
and y'all not gonna judge.
Hold on.
First of all, we're gonna enter in this space, this conversation with non-judgy. Okay. Let's do this. So we went to like, you know, a live saxophonist on a Saturday night, very chill. Shout out to Coy and Coy's connection. Coy know everybody. And it was at this beautiful loft apartment. I'm talking about real high ceilings, and like the saxophone player was like, you know, having YouTube instrumentals, and there was like colored lights, and they had like different wines from a Black-owned winery, and like cheesecake bites and like little brownie bites. There was nobody single. Everybody was married. And it was just myself and Chica. That were the two, you know, like single people there. So me and Chica were just sitting there like kind of annoyed, like, bro, like we could have just stayed at the crib. Like, you know, I had my romper on, you know what I'm saying? Like Chica came out, you know, with the lip gloss. We were just like, bro, where are the people? Like
that's all Chica had was lip gloss.
Chica had a cute outfit. I'm trying to remember what she wore. But I don't remember if she had on jeans and it's like a cute top. But either way, we both look fine. So either way, we were too fine to be left alone. And the saxophone player had a ring on his finger too. So we were just like, okay, bro, let's just go home. And then Coy was like, hey, do y'all want to check out this art exhibit? And then Chica was like, if people are not there, we don't want to go there. Why are we just going to go see art? Because at this time, it's like 1:00 in the morning. But then we got up and we're like, okay, the whole group of people, all the married couples went to this art exhibit, which is just across the hall. Y'all, this art exhibit was erotic art. So we see nipples, vagina, penis. I'm talking about drizzle.
There was one person.
It was all by different artists, but like collectible dildos. Like, and there was a whole wall of different flogging tools. So you had your whip, you had your chain, you had your leather skull face, you had the zip and unzip. And then in his bedroom, there was a live sex doll. And when I say live, is that she moved. Like when you would like touch her, and like she felt so real. I kid you not. I was like, whoa, like this actually feels like a vagina. Like, what is this? Technology is getting really better these days. And then after that, like he gave us like a live flogging demonstration with Coy. Like Coy Coy was like the show and tell. He said, okay, so you hit people like this, you use code words like, green, red, yellow. And then we tried like, I guess a kink is also like electroshock therapy. So like he held on to something. I was like, Coy.
I'm sorry, Kwyn.
So it was like,
Myra, are you okay?
it was like,
look at Stephen Hill looks at like he's at peace, and Myra looks so disturbed.
That's not, and then because I told y'all it was all couples there, right? And then me and Chick were the Coy later on told us that everybody there was actually polyamorous. So nobody was actually like not available. Everybody could have, it could have been a thing. But it wasn't. So yeah.
Now, I just missed the first few words. Did you say this was a museum or was this a sale? Because if so, you didn't list any prices.
No, this was somebody's apartment. This was in a loft apartment.
This is
Yeah.
Okay, fam. I was like, when she ain't dropped a website.
But in Dallas,
In
Dallas, he hosts events all the time. It's called Red Room Dallas. If you guys want to go, he's black, locks, beautiful man. So please go ahead and check him out. And attend, his next show.
And is there a code? Is there anything we're looking for? If they don't say it's a sex dungeon, is there something we should be looking for?
Pineapple.
You should look for. I don't know, because honestly, it appears just like a regular apartment. I think when you see the black man with silver locks, then it's there.
Okay.
But he had books. Okay, he has like a bedroom with like there was 2 little plank things that were tied like an X that people can spin on. Like it was all these toys that I didn't know like really could exist. And he had one of those vibrator things that like was like shaking the table. Like it was a lot.
But this is legal because I can't be involved in another raid. I just need to know.
A raid.
Another raid.
Yes, it was legal. It was just really cool. This is my first time being in like a space like that around, and I'm assuming, so I could be wrong, but around like hetero people. What's the safe word? The safe word is whatever you create. So it could be raspberries. It could be Scooby-Doo. It could be stop.
Ouch. It could be ouch.
It could be ouch.
That's
Not there. How about that?
And it goes red, yellow, green. So red is stop.
Yellow is like, okay, relax. Green is,
Which ones go faster?
Green, if they wanted to.
I would assume green.
Well, you had a wonderful weekend.
Dallas showed up out randomly. I was not expecting that in my romper. Like, wow. I thought I was just coming to listen to, some Jasmine Sullivan. Come to find out, it's a whole different type of song. So
who knew?
Who knew? But it was fabulous. I'm glad that I went out because I was so tired too. At first, we were not going to do anything because we had just left the fair. So all of us were exhausted. And it was like, nah, y'all, this is like our only night in Dallas. Like, we should just go out. We all took a nap. And then Cameron woke up first. And that's the thing, Cameron missed it because Cameron walked out because he was annoyed at the fact that everybody was just married there. And I'm texting him. I said, Cameron, there is a sex dungeon. Come. Yeah. He came back super quick right after Coy gave her demonstration.
And Coy was the number one demonstrator there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this seems appropriate. The time to thank you all so very much for coming on today and being a part of this discussion in an unlikely time and place.
Yes.
And also to leave with you, Yogi's Jewel and the Daily Inspiration. Facing difficult situations, Kwyn, instead of avoiding them, is being mature. So inhale fortitude.
Okay.
Exhale chaos.
I'm hanging out with Kwyn next time.
She didn't give us the name of the place.
It's called Red Room in Dallas. Red Room Dallas. Red. R-E-D.
Inhale, red room.
Inhale fortitude.
Inhale fortitude. I'm sorry. Exhale chaos.
That's right. Those might be safe words too for you, Michelle. All right, you guys. Thanks so much. Thanks for getting started. And Myra.
Yes.
This conversation ain't been for the week. I know. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Good night. Stay safe.